Let me take my seat, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful morning? Sunday morning, Sabbath. Welcome to another edition of Letters to My Mother. I'm DJ Sam, and of course, this is a series that I've been doing based on letters written to my mother when I was in the United States Air Force. Here, let me turn this down a little bit. That's great music being provided by Kevin Smith on the Arrival album, and vocalist is the late Cora Rogers. Really, really wonderful song. This copy of His Eyes on the Sparrow, I would implore you all to find it online and wherever you do your digital downloads on Kevin Smith's Arrival album. You'll know it. It's got the blue airplane. There it is, Arrival. It's got the blue airplane on it, and this is just a really, really wonderful rendition of the song. But once again, I'm DJ Sam. I'm here with episode 5 of Letters to My Mother, and we've really had a great run so far. People are really enjoying the segments that have taken place. I've had a few guest readers that have come on and really been enlightened by things that they learned about their grandmother, and been able to supply you with some of the things that they do that you may be able to enjoy down the road. So without further ado, like I always do, let's reach into the basket and pull a letter, and let's see what was happening when I was in the Air Force and I wrote this letter to my mother. This isn't the typical stationery that I used to use from the Air Force, so this tells me that at this time I was in Madrid, Spain, and it just says son on the envelope. So let's see what this letter entails. And it's dated 18 September 1982. I'd actually been at Torrejón Air Base in Madrid, Spain for a year by then. So, hi Mom, how's my favorite girl and the rest of the family coming along? Adrian and I are doing just fine. By now you all know Adrian is my ex-wife, my son's mother, and she's actually going to try and make an appearance on the show and do a letter that I wrote to my mother, and one she wrote to my mother, because my mom saved a few of hers too. Adrian and I are doing just fine and count down the days until we get home. I was happy to see that you and Dad had a real nice vacation. I think that is the second time you both have traveled out of the city together. He's looking great, except that he looks a bit thin. You better start feeding him more. My stepfather at the time, my dad, had started losing weight. You know, he was a heavy guy all our life, and he started losing weight, getting his sexy back. So they went on a vacation with some of the family members down south and sent some pictures. Aunt Mary, Uncle Tommy, and brother. That's my great uncle, great aunt, and my uncle. My cousin, actually. We called him Uncle Brother, but he was actually my father's cousin. Look like they all are getting along fine too. Jennifer is definitely getting bigger. That's the younger cousin. We really enjoyed the pictures. Shanice is putting on a lot of weight. That was one of my younger sisters, and I think she was getting ready to have a baby, or she was just picking up weight from not doing as much as she used to. She was big into gymnastics. After a while, she won't be able to do all of those flips like she used to. Everything here is pretty mellow. Right now, I am in the middle of football season. As you probably know, I am the starting offensive guard on the base football team. I was a running back, but we were short of guards, and I had a little beef on me. So for part of a season, I actually played offensive guard in a starting mode and was able to do my, I wasn't bad. I was in there doing my thing as a guard. Some big dudes over there, so I was chop blocking a whole bunch of people. So far, we have played 3 games. We won our first game 39-10 against the Hawks from Germany. Our second game, we gave away 0-6 to San Vito, Italy. Our third game, we won 28-0 against the Vincenza, Italy Blue Knights. While we were playing these Italy teams, I had to stay in Italy for 11 days, and it was boring. I did pick Adrian up some expensive souvenirs, though, and she really liked them. She is spoiled to the max. Yeah, it was really great because we got to travel to different areas of Europe to play different teams based on and around military installations. And we had an 11-day tour in Italy where we had to play 2 games. So we were in one part of Italy for 4 days, and another part of Italy for like 3 days, and then another part of Italy. And it was really cool because they had this huge festival for us, and we were really regaled as pro football players. It was really a great time to be in sports, in the military, and overseas because they treated it just like it was a professional sport in the United States. So we got a lot of exposure. And I was able to pick up some of the amazing things that, people in the United States would really clamor after. They would want, and they would have to order them through, high profile import companies or things like that. And when you're in these countries, you get to buy these things not only at their face value, but much cheaper than you would pay when they were shipped to the United States or purchased through some company in the United States or whatever. So I was able to pick up a lot of very nice things for her. Because she gets anything she asks from me. Now on the 25th of September, we have to play the Ariano Italy Eagles, and I'm just getting my foot back in shape. I think I fractured it while playing basketball last week, but I didn't go to the hospital. Adrian tried to force me to because they would have put it in a cast, and I would have probably lost my starting position. That's how coveted being an athlete over there was. It's just like, pro sports in the States is, when you get that starting position, you do whatever you have to do in order to maintain it, even playing through injury and pain. So a friend of mine gave me some Chinese herbs to liquefy and put on my foot overnight, every night, after I soak it in hot water. This was the most amazing thing. The real story behind this is that they actually sent for these Chinese herbs in the United States and got these herbs overseas in like a number of days and gave them to me to use. I don't know how true that is, but it was really important for them to keep their starting people on the field. So the story back then goes that a special mission was put together to get those Chinese herbs over there so that I could soak my foot and get the swelling and everything down and be able to play in the very next game. That's what was said. I don't know how true it was, but the herbs did work. It has taken all the swelling out and I can walk on it again. Even though a bone is still not in the right place. I'll just tape it real tight before each game so that it will have some type of support. Get out there and play at all costs. The only thing Adrian does not like about me playing football, she likes to brag about her husband being a starting lineman. She even has a shirt and cap with my number on them that she wears to our games, is that I have to leave Spain a lot. We traveled an awful lot during the season to play in different countries, England, Germany, France, Italy, Turkey, we were all over Greece. We traveled all over Europe playing games, and it kept me away from home a lot. Plus the fact that we could not be together on either of our birthdays. I was in Italy's on hers, and I'll be in England on my birthday. Other than that, she's pretty proud, especially since I'm the smallest lineman we have. Weighing only 184 pounds. That's how small I was, but I was tenacious, and I was really muscular and built. So when all of the 200 and plus guys were down, I went in and I was able to do my job, as a lineman. And I eventually went back to starting fullback, but I had a stint as a lineman. That's right, little old me. I have guys playing behind me, second string, that weigh 205 and 225 pounds. The coach says that I'm a harder hitter, though, and that I get the job done. I haven't been going to many places since we're trying to save up our money to come home. We're going to take a military airplane from Spain to the States, wherever it sets down. Those were hops that we could take from Europe to the United States for $10. The only thing is putting your name on a list, showing up at the Mac Transit area and waiting until that plane was ready to leave to see if it had enough space on there for you. Sometimes you got on that plane, sometimes you didn't get on until the next plane, sometimes you had to wait a day or so if there wasn't anything leaving. But the thing was to get your name on that list, camp out at the Mac passenger terminal, and believe it or not, for $10 we would travel from Spain, Germany, England, wherever, to the United States. And then once we got here, we would pay a discounted rate for airfare on a commercial airline. So it was really, really advantageous to be in the military at that time and traveling to and from Europe and being able to hop across the water. That's why they were called hops. Hop across the water with a plane that was coming into the United States for supplies or whatever, and pay that minimum amount of money to move from there to the United States. Wherever it sets down, and from there we will take U.S. Air to Chicago. That was our discount airline. I need to have you check and see how much it will cost for us to travel from New York to Chicago, from Philadelphia to Chicago and from South Carolina to Chicago via the following airlines: TWA, Eastern, Continental, and United. Heck, 3 of those airlines aren't even in business anymore. The only one that's still in business is United and US Air. We need to get the lowest and most comfortable flight because after that 7-hour military flight, we need to relax big time. It's only costing us $10 though from Spain to the US per person. We just want to get home. I hear that Rena is really bad. That Rena is, once again, I'm referencing Rena. She was the oldest grandchild and actually the only grandchild that was old enough at 4 to really get a chance to know my mother before she died. So, and she was the only grandchild at that time. My son hadn't been born, so it was just her. So she was like the special baby and she was the apple of my eye. So I was always asking about her, worried about, needed pictures of her and everything because that was like my little baby at the time. I hear the Rena's getting really bad. I may have to spank her a little when I get home because she's got a super flip lip now. They were telling me some stuff that Rena was saying. I was like, good Lord. We will be bringing her a birthday and Christmas present, spoiled as you can see, when we come though, straight from Spain. I was also surprised to hear that Viv and Denise and Steve had moved. You don't have anyone at home now but the 4 younger girls, and that was my older and bigger, my 2 older sisters and my sister's husband were living upstairs, and they had all moved to individual places. My older sister had taken a place of her own, and my second older sister and her husband, who was an Army veteran, had taken a place of their own. So it was just my mom and dad and my 4 younger sisters. Adrian said that Diane, I finally got a letter from her today, and Shanice probably have the upstairs fixed up like it's their house. Those are the 2 sisters that are under me. Cynthia, we call her Diane, and Shanice. And now they occupied the upstairs that my 2 older sisters and I occupied when I was there. And then my 2 older sisters and my sister's husband occupied when I was in the military. And now that they are gone, the next 2 get a chance to go upstairs and to make that their private, personal space. Have it made up like it's their house, and I'll bet she's right. Well, Mom, I'll be going for now. I have some work to do. Tell everyone I said hello, and I'll see them soon. Take care, and we love you all. Love, Sam. So that letter pretty much details that things were really going good. We hadn't yet gotten pregnant, and or either we were and we hadn't said anything or weren't aware of it. But living over in Spain, like I said, and being part of the football team, the Torrejon Raiders football team, Raiders for life, Raiders for life. The Torrejon Raiders football team was a real joy, and being able to travel and some of the things I experienced with those men. My mother actually, at one point after my son was born, was also able to come over and to be able to watch me play football on a pretty much professional level there, and to meet some of the gentlemen that I played with, to meet my coach and some of the other things, and see what the fuss was about, because I was sending them newspaper articles and clothing or swag that we had at the time. And I had done commercials for like Puma and some things like that, you know, different little commercials that we were, radio drops that we were doing over there. So my mom had an opportunity to see me do, you know, some of the things that if you had an only son, you would love to see your only son do, and to know that he was getting a great start in life. And that great start in life only came as a result of having a mother such as mine that loved and doted on me so much, but at the same time allowed me to be a man, to make young boys mistakes that would help make me a better man by learning from them, and at the same time instilling me the rights and wrongs to ensure that I didn't get myself into any trouble as a kid, because I knew, one, that God was watching. We were raised in the church. I knew, two, she was going to find out, because that was back then when everybody's parents were your guardians on the street. And three, I was just, that wasn't what I was about. I wasn't about getting into trouble, things like that. Even at home, I was an avid sports player. I was into reading. I was into model cars and things like that. And I was into my mother extremely a lot. I was really into my mom. I just loved spending time with her and being with her. So once again, I want to thank each and every one of you all for always tuning in. Continue to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And also, I would ask that you comment. I would love to hear what some of you all think about the episodes that you've seen, this episode, and episodes that are coming in the future. And know that reach out and contact me if you've experienced some of the things I've experienced. If you've had a loss in your life that's affected you in any way, shape, or form, reach out. Maybe we can talk, support, and help each other. Iron sharpens iron is what it says in the Bible. And especially one man sharpening another is a great thing. But we have sisters out there that hurt too. And sometimes we just need to be able to know. Sometimes it's better speaking to a total stranger or someone that you don't have to see on a day-to-day basis, or that's not a part of your family. It's better speaking to them than it is, speaking to someone that you do know. So I love each and every one of you all. I appreciate each and every one of you all. Actually, continue to tune in. Got another guest coming in the next reading, and I've even got some special guests that'll hopefully be able to make appointments that we made up. Joe Wright from Block Records, and Kelly Lee from Music Lovers Radio, Tasha Marie, one of the vocalists here in Chicago, that's an amazing vocalist, and some other people, Tony Thornton from Star Planet Television, and some really, really great people who are going to come in, sit down, share, and read a letter to my mother. Thank you so much. God bless you. And as I always like to say, peace.